Hi y'all, it's Susie. Welcome back. Um, yes, I'm finally ready to show y'all my experiment. I think you're going to be pretty excited about it. Um, and I, of course, want to show you the papers that we marbled yesterday that are good and dry now. But what this is I'm trying to make um, like a color spray very inexpensively. So I saw on G. Kerr's channel that she made a color mist using crepe paper and warm water. And so the only crepe paper I knew to find was these like streamers. And so I had a friend pick up some crepe paper for me so that I could try this. So what G had done was taken a little bowl of warm water and take out a piece of paper and stick it down in there. Not very much, she said. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. And so I did. And I measured my little streamer out here to 24 inches. Because, you know, if a little bit is good, then a whole lot is better, right? Well, not necessarily. So I took the warm water and I put the crate, and I used this little shot glass. I don't even know where it came from, but I have several of them that, and I don't even drink, but I used it to measure out the warm water because I wanted to kind of be precise in my measurements here. And what I came up with was this. I let it sit probably, 10 minutes or so. And that's what I came up with. So when I sprayed it, there was only like the slightest bit of color. You couldn't even really tell it. So I got to thinking about it, and I thought, okay, well, what else could I use to maybe bring the color out some? So I thought, well, one of the things that I was going to show y'all in, making your distress inks was alcohol or hand sanitizer, which is made with aloe and alcohol. So I tried that, and it came out kind of this lime green. And again, when I sprayed it, it was just the slightest hint of color. Well, I wanted a little bit more color, so I thought about it some more, and I thought, well, when I was a kid and we dyed Easter eggs, we would put vinegar in the water to make the egg color work. So then I tried the vinegar, and I put, I think it was a tablespoon for the shot glass full of warm water, and put the same amount of crepe paper in there, and it came out just slightly darker. And again, when I sprayed it, there was a slightest hint of color, but not great. So then I thought, well, you know what if I take the vinegar and no water, just straight out the bottle, and try that. So that was the result I got, which was slightly darker. And I thought, okay, well, what if I warm up the vinegar? Because the warm water did better than the vinegar and the warm water did better than just the regular stuff. Then I warmed up the vinegar, and it got considerably darker. And the reason these bottles aren't exactly, the same level, even though I used the same measures, because I kept spraying and testing them. So this was the warmed up vinegar, and this was the vinegar straight out the bottle. So as you can see, it's quite a bit darker with the warmed up vinegar. I thought, okay, well, vinegar is pretty cheap. You can get a big old bottle for just $1 or $2. So that would work for me. So then I thought, well, you know what? I wonder if I can get that a little bit darker. So I used one and a half. No, I did. Yeah, I used I used 2 shot glasses full of warmed up vinegar. And then I used double the amount of crepe paper. So, which would have been 24, and 24 would have been 48 for just 1 shot glass. Well, so then I did that much more. So I did 48 more. So a total of 96 inches of crepe paper. And the results were almost identical. I couldn't really tell the difference, in those. So when I sprayed them, I got a darker color, and I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to spray a piece of paper and show you in a minute. So I thought, well, no need in using more crepe paper if it's going to have the same results. So I did get a slightly darker, and so this would be what I would use. But I wouldn't use more crepe paper. I would just go back to the 48 inches for the 2 shot glasses instead of the 96, because it would be just a waste of the crepe paper. So I'm going to show you how that turned out. I was really, really excited with that result, because that is good and cheap. Because when you go to the dollar store, you can get 2 rolls of the crepe paper in a package for $1. So that's pretty cheap. And in all honesty, I don't use a whole lot of colors. So you would decide which colors you would really use and which ones you want, and then that would be the ones you get, because you can get, blue and red and yellow and black and green and, so, and purple. So, there's various colors you can get in the crepe paper. So you would decide which colors you would actually use, and that's what you would get. All right, so then after the crepe paper, I thought, well, you know what, I want to try the food coloring. So I don't have the liquid food coloring like most people have in their kitchens, and because I was a pastry chef, I have a lot of gel food coloring, which is very concentrated. So of course you don't need much of this, and the liquid food coloring doesn't give near as vibrant colors as gel coloring, and that's why professionals use the gel food coloring. And to buy, say, just a single bottle of the gel coloring, if you get it at Michael's or Joann's, it's usually about $2.50, and if you wait and get it, with a coupon, then it's going to be about $1.60 or so for a bottle. Again, you'll decide what colors you would want and use that. So then I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to use the warm water and mix with a little bit of this. And when you use gel coloring, you just stick a toothpick in there, and you're not scooping it out. Let me grab a little pick here. I want a green one. All right, let's use a pink one. Now, this is a bigger kind of toothpick, and I would not use this because it's just too big, but this one hadn't been open. I used a different one. Like I said, I got tons and tons of this, so I knew I was going to do that. I just got all this coloring off my hands with some bleach last night, so let me see. All right. And of course, you never ever stick anything back in your color twice, because you will contaminate it. All right, so I would just take my toothpick and dip it down in there. Like I said, this is way too big, way too much. And I would just dip it down in there and try it in the water. And of course, you can't measure this gel. I mean, it doesn't really pour or anything like that. So you just want to keep adding until you get what you want. So I ended up using 2 shot glasses full of water, and I had so much color in there, and so I ended up coming up with this result, which is absolutely a gorgeous color. So then I thought, well, what if I use vinegar instead of water? Will it, make it even bolder, since it did on the crepe paper? So I tried that and came up with that result. Now, I don't really see much difference in that. So, the water compared to the vinegar, I can't really tell that much of a difference. Let me get rid of this before I get this green color everywhere. And when you use gel colors, you may want to use gloves, because it will dye your fingers, whatever color you're using. So I want to get a piece of paper. And I want to demonstrate how this works. Since these colors didn't turn out so great, I'm not going to, go get a little sprayer, to put on each bottle to show you. But I'm going to show you, this was the warmed up vinegar, just no water, just warmed up vinegar with the additional crepe paper. And like I said, this one comes out, the one with, not so much crepe paper, came out exactly the same, really. So I'm just going to kind of spray this on there. And then this was the gel color with just the water. This sprayer isn't working real good. It's like it's clogged or something. And then this was the gel color with the vinegar. And now I'm going to just use my little heat tool. I meant to bring my blow dryer in here, forgot, because you don't need a heat tool. I'm just, you know, I just forgot my blow dryer. But I want to dry this so y'all can see the results. I'm sorry it's going to be noisy. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, now on camera, you can't really see this very good, but this was the crepe paper with the warmed up vinegar. And there is a very slight hint of green there, and I like it. But this was the gel color with the water, and this was the gel color with the vinegar. And of course you can tell, you know, where more spray went than others. But as you can see, there's not a big difference in these colors. And so why use the vinegar if the water is going to do exactly the same? So crepe paper does work, and probably if I sprayed this again and, you know, let it dry and then sprayed it again and let it dry, I could get a darker shade. But I'm just not, you know, I just don't want to do that. You know, I want something more instant. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to make colored mist, to get the gel food color. And you can buy it like in sets, I don't know, 4 or 6 in a box, probably for $10, $12, something like that. And then you, of course, wait till you have a coupon, and then you can get various colors. And I am going to go over color theory maybe in the next video to show y'all what colors to put together, what colors not to mix, and which colors to mix to, say, get brown and stuff like that. So anyway, I wanted to show you this experiment. I think it's great. And so I do recommend, if you want color sprays, to get the gel coloring. And of course, if I watered this down more, it would be a lighter shade. And when I go over color theory, you'll figure out what to add to this to, you know, make it a darker green. Of course, you could always add some more gel and see, you know, what that does. As you can tell, where I sprayed heavier, it's obviously a darker green. So if I really wanted it darker, I could spray, but then you get, let me see if I can get this a little bit closer for you. Then you get this kind of line around it, kind of like where it puddled. So I'm not sure that I would want that. I would rather darken it up just a little bit to get that shade of green than to have that puddling. Now, of course, that puddling does look nice, and it, you know, it would probably be beautiful on a page. And so, anyway, I love that. I think it turned out great. I'm not going to say that this did not work. And, you know, G. Kerr is from Portugal, so maybe the crepe paper she uses is a better quality, where she gets more color out of hers. And maybe if you have another source for crepe paper other than those streamers, you'd want to give that a try, because it does leave a very, very slight hint. So you can imagine, if this is a slight hint, that these other ones are, you know, not so special. So anyway, I really, really like the gel coloring. So that's that. I'm really excited about it. I hope y'all give it a try. These little bottles, I get them at the Dollar Tree. You know, you get 3 for $1, and you get 2 bottles with these closed lids and 1 with the spray lids. And I use these bottles for all kind of things. So, you know, I didn't just buy them for this project. I've had them on hand because obviously I'm not going out. So, I wanted to show you that. Now, let's take a look at the papers that we did yesterday. I am so excited about them. They turned out absolutely beautifully. Let me move these out the way so they're not so distracting. Because I'm obviously not going to use these. I'm going to, you know, pour them out and clean my bottles. Isn't that gorgeous? Can y'all see that? Those are the marble papers we did yesterday. Look how pretty. Isn't that beautiful? All right, now this was the coffee dyed paper that I just kind of ran through it and then wiped it off. Not so great. Look at here. Isn't that beautiful? Can y'all see that? And then this was when we just used the pinks and a little bit of red in there. I just love that. These are going to look gorgeous in my journals. Isn't that pretty? I just love, love, love that effect. This was the paper that I tore. Of course, you can tell I touched it when I was playing with the green food coloring yesterday. It's got a little green streak. But like I said, I'm going to use this and I'll, you know, cut tags or tucks or something out of this. And I just think it is beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And this actually was just the blue, but because it was mixed with the pinks and the red, it turned it just a little bit green, which is kind of surprising because blue and red make purple. But anyway, I really like that. I think it is beautiful. This one, funny enough, after I left and went back to it later, the color from that, remember my gel was kind of yucky and wasn't liquidy anymore? Well, those colors kind of burst, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to lay down some paper in that and see what it picks up. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's kind of, I don't know, dirty looking. Maybe with the right journal. I mean, I'm not going to throw it away. I'll see if I can use it for something. And this was another one that I tried in that same thing. And not so special. Here's another one of the marble ones that we did. And I really, really like it. This was the second coffee dyed paper that I used. And it turned out okay. I'm not overly excited about it, but it'll work. So, would I do it again? Sure. I might use darker colors to get more of an effect. Or I might just put, you know, more throughout and marble it a little bit more. The pinks are really kind of disappeared, so we can only really kind of see the you know, where the reds were in there. So I'd probably put a little more red because it turned it a pink color, you know, and swirl it a little bit better. So I will definitely try this again. But I do love, love, love the effects of the marble paper. And it was so cheap and so easy and so much fun. I love getting my hands all yucky and messy. And so I thought that was a lot of fun. What else was I going to share with you? Oh, all I have left to do is iron my papers. And I guess I should have mentioned before, I iron all of my papers. And if you don't have an iron, it's okay. You know, just take your papers and put them under some heavy books and let them sit, you know, for a couple of days. And it'll help flatten them out. But anytime you put any kind of, you know, liquid on paper, it tends to buckle it up. I iron everything. Even when I glue stuff together, I iron it. So let's say that I'm using coffee dyed paper. Once it's coffee dyed, I iron that page. And let's say if I glued, you know, pieces back to back like that to make the page sturdier. Once it's glued and dried, I iron it. And then, you know, when I add my pieces, I iron those. I can do an entire stack of paper in, you know, say, you know, 10 minutes. Because it doesn't take long. You're just kind of going over it with a hot iron to get it flat, and that works. And I will say, you can print on, say, coffee dyed paper. When you iron it, you want to put this edge right over the edge, the circular part of your ironing board or ironing surface, whatever you're using, and iron that flat first. So that when it goes to feed into the printer, that's a good smooth surface that the printer can grab. If it's buckled up like this, it'll get caught in the printer. So that's just a kind of a heads up. I don't have a whole lot of luck with printing on coffee dyed paper, even ironed, but I still do it. I still like the look of it. But just to be aware, make sure this whatever edge is going into the printer is nice and flat, so that the printer will feed it through. The rest of it, you know, just iron it however, but your edge that's going in the printer, that's the key right there. So I hope y'all enjoyed my experiment as much as I did. I just had so much fun with this. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it with all kind of colors. And like I said, I want to go over some color theory with y'all so that you kind of know what to use together, what not to use together. I'm actually going to demonstrate, I think, with colored pencils to show y'all blending and mixing and what works and, you know, kind of what doesn't work. And I think you're going to really, really enjoy learning about that. And if I have time, I also want to talk about when you're making a page or making a card or a tag, kind of how to position things to draw the most interest, to draw the eye to what you want it to see. So I'm going to, you know, try to kind of cover that a little bit. And of course, it's all just suggestions, things I learned, you know, as I was becoming an artist and learning, you know, how to draw and how to position, you know, it's all about perspective and position and proportion, you know, when you're drawing things. And it's kind of the same when you're working on your pages or on elements that are going to go on your pages. So I kind of want to touch on that. I know it's going to be a little bit, you know, boring, but once you know it, then you know it from now on, and you can apply it to what you're doing, you know, if you're interested. And if you're not, then, you know, do it however you want to. Like I said, you know, from the very beginning, there's no rules. And so you just do you. Whatever is good for you, you just do it. So I did want to show you the results of this. This is another option for coloring your pages. We didn't try to put like magazine pages in the marbling yesterday, and I don't think it would be a good idea because they're so thin, and when they get wet, I believe they would just fall apart. I don't think we would have the ability to scrape them off. But I do like this. Like I said, you can do it on the back of you know, your mail that is, you know, has the white on the back, and then, you know, once you're done, even if there's writing on both sides, and see, I hate the way this looks. This is where I made a mess, you know, having it on the countertop. I just glue these two pages together, and so then you have pretty paper on both sides, plus it'll be more sturdy. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And please hit the like button. I always forget to tell y'all that. But please don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Y'all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.